I'm about to unbox and then give my first thoughts about this, the V Woods AI paper, and this isn't that video. You can go ahead and check that out elsewhere. But before I did that, I thought I would just go through sort of my relationship and what's happened up to and including me being sent this, so that you understand sort of the purpose of these videos and how that works with brands really. And the reason I want to do this in this particular video is because there's been discussion about another reviewer maybe having been paid for this, and I know nothing about that. I'm not talking about another reviewer's videos at all here. But there's been a lot of people throwing around that maybe this is a scam, and I think that word kind of scam is a word that is used quite a lot on YouTube because it gets a lot of interest, and it might even feature in the title for this video. But you need to know whether the reviews you watch are honest and independent or whether they're actually paid for. And I can certainly tell you that I'm not being paid by V Woods in any way, apart from having sent this to me. Now, they've sent this to me to facilitate me making a review. Without being sent it, I can't make a review of it. I can't afford to go and buy every single tablet and make a review of it. And I would urge you to see that most of the reviews that you see on YouTube will have been facilitated in that way by having the things sent to the person or to the company to review. Sometimes I have to send them back, but most of the time the brands actually like to leave them with me because the content that really does well on my channel is comparison videos and update videos. So they want to leave them in my hands to facilitate further comparisons, and actually they're some of the most useful videos that you guys like the most. It's really useful when a new device is released to be able to compare it to an old one, or to be able to compare it directly with another competitor's. So they let me keep them, I think, just to facilitate that. But importantly, in all of my review content, there's never any editorial input from the brands themselves. If I'm making a video where I'm showcasing a product and I've been actually told to say certain things, certain marketing points, then that video will clearly be labeled as a sponsored video. It will have a thanks to this brand for sponsoring it at the start, and it will never be called a review. I much prefer it when brands do what V Woods do, what Boox do, what Supernote do, which is that they've just sent me this device with no strings attached, no expectation to make any particular content, but just that I will cover the device in some way. It's not always the case that things are sent to me for free. For instance, I bought this. This is a Claude Note that I'm going to go ahead and review. And I bought the Rabbit R1 to give that a review because these are things that they weren't interested to collaborate with me or didn't get back to me. And I thought it would be worth bringing you on my channel. I'm not going to take the time in each video to explain exactly which was sent to me and which wasn't. But I will always say that disclosure at least once, probably in the unboxing videos, whether that's been sent to me or not. So if I don't say it, I bought it. And lastly, you've got to remember that, yeah, it's quite exciting to be sent something. And these are desirable objects, these are desirable pieces of tech, which, you know, I want, and I want to use them, and I want to enjoy using them and getting to know them. So when you get something, like this is supposedly the world's thinnest tablet now. This is even thinner than the Remarkable 2 and the Boox Go 10.3. So of course I'm excited to get this out, and I'm excited to try it out. So I'm generally going to feel quite positive and in a good kind of frame of mind whilst I make a review and whilst I make an unboxing video. So you have to be aware of that, you know, that your reviewer is getting something and is excited about it. So there is that kind of positive spin. They're always going to kind of see the best side of things. And also, I'm generally a really positive person, and positive messages do better on video than negative ones do. And I'd far rather say what's good about things. I'd far rather say what's interesting or what's exciting about a device. And I'm always going to look for some kind of person or use case that each device is suited for. These are companies that are full of people that are trying their best to make good tablets. They're not companies full of people that are spending all this time trying to scam you. And it's really important that you guys don't think of me as somebody who's here trying to scam you out of your money. I'm not here to support brands in exchange for their money. I'm here to provide content for you. I hope that's an interesting discussion in any case. Now, I'm going to actually go into the correspondence with V Woods, and I'm going to put it up here on the side here, as I just think it's important that you sort of see the way that I communicate with brands. So first of all, there was an email just to say they're letting me know they've been impressed with my content, always starts like that, and they want me to review their product, give me a bit of information about it. Of course, I send back, yeah, it looks very interesting, I'd be glad to check it out, here's my address, go ahead and send it. That tends to be my response because I much prefer it when brands will just send things out and let their product actually speak for itself. Then they say, thanks for your interest, sorry for the delayed response. So there was about a month actually before them getting back to me after that. And they said it's ready to go on Kickstarter. And then they say, could you please share your pricing structure or plan for this collaboration? We're excited about it, blah, blah, blah. So that's a bit annoying. And then I say, well, no pricing structure, just send the unit and I'll cover it. This keeps my content independent and unsponsored. So I'm a bit annoyed in a way that they did say that, and maybe some reviewers would actually send back, say, oh yeah, great, yeah, pay me and I will say these things about it. So there is that. They are a brand which is willing to pay to have their materials covered. And that's okay. It's okay for brands to want to pay to have a certain message put out at a certain time in a certain way. You just need to be aware of it. You just need to be told about it before you do that. And I've done that. I've done that recently with a set of earbuds, but I will always be upfront about that and tell you that's the case, that I've been paid to say these things. I'll say, thanks to that brand for sponsoring this message, and it won't be called a review. And the important thing about that is it's just a way for me to bring you a showcase of a product that otherwise you might not even know existed. But I do say I'll keep full editorial control in this case. I'll be glad to read and take on board any key features and benefits that you wish to share with me though, and consider that in the content. And that's just useful. If they send me a list of here's the things you should be aware of about our tablet, then that's useful. I'm of course going to check them out. I'm not just going to tell you they exist and that they're brilliant. I'm going to check them out and try them out. They're happy with my terms, they say. They do say then, however, we'd appreciate if you could share the preview link before posting. And then it says this would allow us to verify that product features are accurately presented. So they're looking therefore to make sure that I'm not saying it's a certain type of processor, which it isn't. Now, a lot of companies do like to do that. Again, if it's unsponsored content, then I will say no. Regarding verification of the content before publication, I'm afraid I can't do that. It's something that's very important to myself and my audience to ensure transparency and truly independent evaluations of the products on my channel. However, I'll always be sure to seek out your advice if there's something I'm not sure of or might not be getting correct due to user error. And then I go on to say if there are small factual errors in a review, I can issue a correction afterwards, I can remove inaccurate sections, or I can issue updates or later videos on the tablet. It's just important to be able to say that it's not been okayed by the brand before I go ahead and publish a video. And then they go ahead and they tell me some important tips, which is very useful. And they encourage me to highlight key features, which is very, very welcome. It's absolutely fine for them to do that. So importantly, I don't consider any of the content I'm going to make on the V-Words to be sponsored content. They've given me this, you could call it a gifted collaboration. That's something that people say a lot of the time on Instagram and TikTok and things like that. But they haven't got any control over what goes out. And those are the two things that you need for a piece of content to be considered an advert. They need to be paying for it, and they need to have control over the actual content of that video. And they don't have control over the content. I don't get any money for these. I use them to test them out, to bring you evaluations of them and examples of using them in my real world work life. Yes, I have a fair few of them, and some of them are no longer in my house, and that's because I've given them away to family and friends. People are interested by the devices in my family group. So once a device is kind of like, it's not very relevant to us on this channel anymore, then I will sort of give them out to my family and friends. I don't go ahead and sell them on eBay and earn money in that way from them. And there is also the case that this is a Kickstarter campaign, and of course it's worth mentioning that this is what they've sent to me. This is not a sort of product that you can buy directly right now on any shop online. It's only available via their Kickstarter campaign, so what you actually get might never happen, and it might not resemble exactly this. So I'm not going to go ahead and label every bit of content that I make on this as being a sponsored video. I'm not even going to call my first unboxing video a sponsored video, because it isn't. The important thing is that you understand that I'm making the content for you. I'm making the content for you, the audience. I don't make the content for V-Words. I might not always get the tone right, and I'd always like to hear from you guys if you think, no, that's a bit too positive or anything like that. Or if you're watching one of my sponsored videos and you think, no, that isn't something I'm interested in. It's often the case I'll get that wrong, that I bring you information about a device in a sponsored video that I think that you'll be interested in. This is a business and I need to make income to allow me to do this. So I do need to make money. And those opportunities allow me to make more videos. It's like what Walt Disney said, we make videos, we make movies in order to make more movies. And that's my reason for doing this YouTube channel. I want to be able to do this more because I really enjoy doing it. I'm a creative person who really enjoys making content, and I'm making content for you. And I hope you find that useful. So please do let me know what you think about all these. And I think this kind of jump to label things a scam, you know, there's this real CoffeeZilla and Voidzilla. I watched a thing about him getting scammed when actually he'd just kind of not read his insurance policy completely. We can all make that mistake, I'm sure, but it doesn't make it a scam. It's easy to jump on this bandwagon and label things a scam rather than actually think that maybe, yeah, there might be mistakes along the way. Somebody may have made a mistake about not making a particular disclosure, but that's probably due to incompetence rather than malice. That's Hanlon's razor, of course. And I'm gonna make sure that I don't lose sight of that on my channel, that I'm making content for you. And if you ever think that I'm falling short of that, please do tell me that's not what you signed up for. And please don't think that us small content creators are here trying to scam you out of your money, because we're not. Okay, let's get open and have a look at it. That's for the video.